Trig applications, Algebra 2 trigonometry regions. So up to this point in this chapter, we've discussed three formulas: the area of a triangle formula, the law of sines formula, and the law of cosines formula. And really what we're going to do for the next couple of days is kind of just practice applying these in problems. Some word problems, some diagram problems, some force vector problems, which will be the next video. On a simple problem like this, in triangle ABC, angle A is 32, side A is 12, side B is 10. Find the measures of the missing sides and angles of triangle ABC and round them all to the nearest tenth. So what you need to determine is, should I be using law of sines? Should I be using law of cosines? You know, things like that. So let's take a look at this. If we drew this picture out, and it's always helpful to draw a picture if they don't provide you with one. Here's angle A, angle B, angle C, clearly not drawn to scale. So this is 32 degrees. Side A is 12, side B is 10. And so we're missing a couple of things. We're missing side C, we're missing angle B and angle C. So we have to find two sides and two angles and one side. So the first question really you need to ask yourself with these problems is law of sines versus law of cosines. Which one can I use? Now, law of sines is probably a little bit easier. You know, the A over sine A, B over sine B, you know, I think that's a little bit less work, and students tend to have a better time with that problem. Law of cosines is a little bit harder, but it's not too bad. But I think we prefer law of sines. There's really not many problems where you have a choice. There'd be maybe one or two times where that comes up. Usually there is only one option. Like you have to do law of sines or you have to do law of cosines. But you always want to kind of think about law of sines first. And when we worked on law of sines a couple days ago, the key was the complete set. And that's what you always want to ask yourself is, do I have a complete set? Do I have a side measurement and the angle measurement across from it? And the answer here is yes. So you can do law of sines on this case because we have 12 and angle 32. We have side A and angle A. And so we have a complete set, so I can do the law of sines here. The law of sines would be A over sine A equals B over sine B, or any side and sine of the opposite angle equal to another side over sine of its opposite angle. So A over sine A, B over sine B, that's going to be 12 over sine 32 equals side B, which we have as 10, over sine B. And I'm going to use this to find angle B. Now, this is actually going to be an ambiguous problem, angle B. So there's going to be two options for angle B. And I'm kind of hoping only one of them work out, but let's see. Now, I do need my calculator for this stuff, so let me get my calculator out. And I'll actually pause the video for a second and let that load. All right, so here's the calculator. So if we do our cross multiplication here to find angle B, we're looking at 12 times, oh, no, I'm sorry, 10 times sine 32. And let me just do a quick check. I'm on degrees. 10 times sine 32, and it's going to be that divided by 12. And that's going to get me sine B is 0.4415, but we got to do second sine, second answer to get angle B is 26. So 26.2. We'll just say, yeah, I guess we got to round to the nearest tenth for these questions here. So we'll go with 26.2. So one option for angle B is 26.2, but because sine is ambiguous, it could be quadrant 2. I gotta figure out what my other quadrant answer would be, and it would be 153. So angle B could also be 153.8 if I round that properly. Let's see, 153.7 is 153.8. And I know that angle A is 32, which means that this one will not work out. Because if angle A is 32, these add to more than 180, so that's not going to work out. So this has to be my angle B right here. So we found angle B to be 26.2. All right, so I have side A, side B, angle C. Now I got to work on the C's. And always keep in mind that if you have two angles of a triangle, it's pretty easy to find the third. So find that first. So 180 minus 32 minus 26.2 will get us our angle C. Right? 180 minus the ones you have will give you the one that you need. So let's see what that comes out to be. So 180 minus the 32 I know I have minus 26.2 equals 121.8. So that's going to be our 121.8. That's going to be our angle C, 121.8. All right, last thing I need is side C. Again, I have a complete set here. Well, I guess this is one of those cases where now that I have everything but side C, I could do law of cosines if I preferred. I could do, C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. I have all the information to do that. Or I could stick with the law of sines and go from there, and that's what I'm going to choose to do in this video. But there are going to be problems where you have no choice but to do law of cosines. And that you always know you have no choice but to do law of cosines when you do not have a complete set for law of sines like we did here, A and sine A. So let's see, I'm gonna stick with the 12 and sine 32 because those are whole numbers. I could use the 10 over 26.2, but I'm gonna go with the whole numbers. 12 over sine 32 equals side C over sine 121.8. And the calculator is going to do the rest of the work for me here. I'm going to cross multiply the 12 times sine 121.8, and that will be divided by sine 32, and rounding to the nearest tenth is 19.2. And it's not surprising that's my largest side because it is opposite the largest angle in the problem. So there's my side C is 19.2. My angle C was 121.8, and my angle B was 26.2. So that's what trig applications is. It's just taking a look at these problems. Some of them have big pictures. Some of them you got to draw a picture. Figuring out what you have, figuring out what you need. Sometimes it'll be multiple steps to get to your final answer. And using law of sines and law of cosines along the way. And remember, for law of sines, you want that complete set. Without this 12 and angle 32 across from each other, law of sines would not have been an option, and I have no choice but to do my law of cosines. And sometimes it's find that stuff and then do the area. So, these are very common part 3, part 4 type of regions questions, so it's really important to know how to do these well. Be careful with the algebra, but it's all about the law of sines and law of cosine formulas. Practice this tomorrow.